Okay, so I'm sure, lost a few people because the first week is that kind of week. And we also have some new faces here. So for the new people, I did record my lecture from last time. And just Google my name, Com401, you'll get to my web page. And from there, you can try to navigate it. And there'll be a table, and in the table, there will be resources by topics, and you can just go through it and find today's date, or last time's date, and find it. Okay. I want to start by introducing our two TAs who will be here each class. And we are in a, I guess, privileged situation that they're both grad students, but they're both UNC undergrads. One was a computer science undergrad, and one was an economics undergrad who saw the light and switched to computer science. So you want to just say,
Hi everybody, my name is Leon. You can call me Simon. I was the economics one, and yeah, a few years after graduating, I started programming, fell in love with it, which means two things. First of all, I really like talking about programming and love to share that excitement. So if you guys come see me during office hours, I'll hopefully be able to share that with you. And second of all, it means there's a lot to love. So you guys are in, I think, one of the coolest professions in one of the strongest programs, definitely in the state, but even across the country. So I hope you guys take this opportunity. And the real key to it is to start early. If you start early, everything will be fun and you'll have a great time.
see, he's inspired the course better than I did. Andrew?
Hi, I'm Andrew. I've been here for 5 years. I'm a master's student. I've taken this class once with Professor Dewan 4 years ago, and I've TA'd it once last year. So if you have any questions, I've probably seen them before at some point, so don't be afraid to ask questions. The other thing I wanted to say is this is one of the most important classes you'll take if you decide to be a software engineer, get a job after you graduate. I assume you guys want to get paid. These are concepts you use every day on the job. It's not like a history class book where you learn something and it's cool, but you'll never use it again. This is something that you use every day in the program. So just keep that in mind when you're taking this class.
Good thing I'm recording this. This is what I need to be saying when I start the class, right? Okay. So what I'm going to do today is tell you what our structure is going to be like. But before that, how many of you have not signed up on Piazza? Just a few. Because on Sakai it says about 100 people in the class, and on Piazza it says 50 people. So if you haven't signed up, you're a little behind, and I'm a little worried that you might not have everything installed, or maybe you didn't need to go to Piazza. So do sign up as quickly as possible. And I've been sending messages, so there's been a lot of activity already on Piazza for those of you who are not signed up, and that's good. Okay, but those of you who haven't done so, don't get intimidated. We've got enough time, and I told you earlier that we have a whole spectrum of skills and interests and time. So that is going to happen, and that's why I have all this extra credit. So let me just tell you, what I'm dreaming up is the structure for each lecture. I shouldn't call it lecture, just class participation. So how many of you have not been able to get JDK or Eclipse on your computer? Okay, so those of you who haven't, I think all of you, each one of you who raised their hand, the person next to you did not raise their hand. So that's good. Okay, and please work with them. And we will, see whether they can also help you install that stuff. Yeah, you have a question? Sorry, you're sitting so behind that I can't hear you. So can you say?
Exactly how many things are we supposed to add to our computers? So we're supposed to download JDK, install Eclipse, and import Git.
That's it. You got the 3 steps. Those are the 3 things one needed to do for class. And that's what you need to do for the assignments also, unless you want check style and other goodies, which I said are optional, which to be honest, right now aren't ready from my end. They're kind of ready, but I just haven't had the cycles to install them on the computer. Okay, so by tomorrow or certainly the weekend, I'll do that. And I'm assuming that those of you who are finished, you have time, you can always check later. But those are the 3 steps you needed to do. And many of you had already, encountered Java, so the first 2 steps weren't necessary. And the 3rd step, hopefully it all went fine. But in anything you try, there's always potential problems. Okay? So those of you who, so how many of you haven't got the Java teaching project on your computer? Again, not many. Very good. Okay, so one person is sitting a little far away from their neighbor, so please cluster as much together as possible, okay, and work in groups, and maybe they can help you also. Tomorrow's recitation, that will be another avenue for that'll provide another avenue for help, but please work with them, okay. So this is good. Things are much better than I feared, okay. Once you have the Java, and those of you who did it, a lot of you who are early birds, sometimes early birds suffer, so you get earlier versions. So please do a pull. Okay, go to team and do a pull so that you get the latest stuff, because I kept making minor edits till about an hour ago or 20 minutes ago. So just do a pull so that you have the latest version. Okay. So what we'll do, you've seen that table with topics, right? And the first topic is scanning. And on each topic, I gave you a bunch of resources. There's, like I told you, I'm going to make you unhappy by giving you all these choices. But the truth is that I really want, you guys to succeed. As Andrew said, this is, from a job point of view, this is perhaps the most important class you'll ever do. And because this is the class that will make you really program in large, what's called programming in the large. Okay, and so it's an important class, and so you've got all these avenues for learning. Okay, so you please just choose the one that's appropriate. And I did a survey last time, and most students use more than one avenue. Okay, so find the right avenue, and so each topic has these resources. Plus, we're going to do something else in class on that topic, not quite lectures, but these praxis. Okay, and so what I'll tell you is I'll tell you the name of a Java package and a Sakai quiz. That's information in addition to what you see in this row. Okay, and they will be the basis for what we do in class. Okay, and you can do this work without looking at any of the resources. Okay, but if you have the time and the motivation, I would recommend looking at them before or after. Fred Brooks, who founded our department, his philosophy is that you should look at the lectures after you've done the homework. That is when you really understand the lecture. Okay, does that make sense to anybody? A couple of people are nodding.
Can you repeat that one more time?
So yeah, it's a profound truth. I better just repeat it one more time. So the conventional wisdom is that I teach you some topic in a theoretical fashion, in a top-down fashion, logical fashion, and then I give you an example, and then we'll do another example in recitation, and then you do the homework afterwards. His philosophy is you do the homework first. Somehow do it. Okay, look up the web. In my case, you've got so many resources. Okay, we'll also have this praxis. So this praxis that we'll do today is motivating that philosophy. Okay, that you will do this exercise, and you don't have to necessarily look at the theory before. And then when you go, then do the homework, and now go and look at the theory that was supposed to help you with the exercise. And it will. So and a couple of people nodded and said that's a good idea. Why do you think it's a good idea?
Because if you first learn the theory and you practice, you forget. And then when you go practice, you forget what you learned. You have to look it up over again. Whereas if you learn the theory later, it reinforces what you figured out.
It reinforces what you figured out and crystallizes it. And how many of you are business majors? Oh, very few. Last time I had a lot of business majors. I thought that was, a lot of people were double majoring. In MBA, they want you to work first before you do the MBA. Why? Because what they will teach in class will make far more sense once you've seen the issue. Okay? So if you haven't seen the issues, it's hard to make sense. So that's the theory. I mean, there's all kinds of theories. For every, you can justify almost any practice with some theory. Okay? But that's a theory here. But it depends. I mean, if you have the time, just do it both times. Look at it before, look at it after too. So, that's if you have the time, that's the guarantee, that's the ticket to success. Okay? Now, I use the word package. Now, those of you who did Java before, how many of you have declared in your program a package? You guys did, huh? That's good. A lot of people who do Comp 110 like courses just use the default package, and that is possible. And they say, packages are for advanced students. Well, now you're an advanced student, or at least an intermediate student. So your Java project that you looked at has got the source code. And then those of you who didn't do packages, you might have seen the word default here below SRC, and then a whole bunch of classes underneath that. Okay? That's one package. Now what we've got are multiple packages, and you'll see what a package is in code today, okay, with the praxis. And so you find the package in this list. Okay, this is what the packages look like in the user interface. You'll see today what they look like in code. Okay, and go to the package that I've told you ahead of time. And for this particular praxis, it is lectures.scanning. Okay, so the convention will be the topic is T, then the package is lectures.t. Okay, and what you should do is I've created a bunch of classes, and you'll see what classes mean also today. And in the classes, there are comments. Okay? And what you've been told so far is that whenever you write some complicated code or some code, comment it. Okay? And you have to have an audience in mind when you're commenting it. Right? So the audience I have in mind when I write this code is you. Okay? And I'm not necessarily telling you how the code works. Okay? That's the code, like I told you in this class, the code will be, each unit will be fairly simple. But I'll tell you why you're looking at what you're looking and what you should expect to learn from it. Okay? So what you're going to do is take my package and you're going to experiment with it. Okay? It's like going to a physics lab or a chemistry lab and just trying out and seeing how something behaves. Okay? And don't try out in the package I created, because you'll be pulling this package again and again. And if you change things and I change things, we get into a conflict situation, and that's a mess. Okay? So create a new copy of the package. Okay? And if you create a new copy, you're touching a different part than what I'm touching, so we won't have a conflict. Okay? And how do you make a copy? Well, how do you make a copy of anything? The shortcut is Control-C and then Control-V. Okay? What you're doing a Control-C is not on some piece of text, but on the whole package. Okay? So you select the package, do Control-C, Control-V. If you forget the shortcuts, you'll find some menu item that says copy and paste, and just do that. Okay? So when you do that, it goes and tells you, please give me a name for the package, and you can just use lectures.scanning.copy, and I'll make sure I don't have any package with that name so that we don't end up with conflicts. Okay? And that's creating the package. Now, a package is going to have a bunch of sub-packages or classes and interfaces we'll see later. Plus, you can have a file with a distinguished name called packageinfo.java. Okay, can you guys imagine what this might be doing? What the name packageinfo.java might convey to you? So you've got a bunch of classes, and you want to connect them together. Well, what's your name? Michael. So I have a formal way of noting that someone participated. you should, so this, you just participated in class, so just make sure you enter that in Sakai at some point, okay? And what's your name? So you too, of course, okay? And I know there was a bunch of other people, but I have to remember this. I've never done this before, it's kind of unnatural, but I do want to make sure that each one of you participates, okay? The class is big enough that, it's small enough that it shouldn't be too intimidating, and big enough that it should be a good experience for you, okay? So this is good. Okay, so package info, you've got a bunch of classes. You want to sort of tell somebody what those classes might be doing together. For some reason, you combine them together into a class, into a package, okay? I am using info for similar purposes, but I'm going to structure it in a way just so that, we achieve our end, okay? So my package info, and this is totally non-standard, so please don't think this is something you should do after you graduate or after or you should do in your classes, okay? But I'm just telling you why I created this package. It's for you guys, okay? This particular program, these programs are written, do nothing beyond teach, okay? Pedagogy. So here you'll find 2 units, praxis info and package and question info, okay? And question info is a set of questions you will answer in Sakai formally and get points for, okay? And I'm telling you what these questions are right here, so you don't have to go to Sakai and deal with this user interface, okay? And praxis info is telling you in which order to navigate the various classes in the package, okay? You're going to navigate the classes, experiment with them, and in the classes you'll find comments, and you're going to read those comments in the code and follow instructions in the code, okay? So you want to do that in a certain order, and that order will be there. So there's some more information later. So the praxis will serve 2 purposes. First, it will help you answer the questions. And you may be able to answer the questions without even doing the praxis. I still think it's good for you. Okay, I'm also teaching you a lot about Eclipse in that. Okay? And that's something people don't teach. In fact, there's a researcher at NC State whose goal is to make sure that somehow we can infect people with Eclipse knowledge when they need it. And his sort of technique is that if you have a friend who has learned, who has used a new feature in Eclipse, then we'll play a video of your friend using that feature, and you'll say, me too, because you can relate more to your friends than some unknown person, right? So that's a big deal, how you learn Eclipse, okay? And I've programmed without a programming environment, using a text editor and the command line, and I've programmed with a programming environment. And I mean, there's no comparison. The amount of power you have in a programming environment is just enormous. So you should know something about this power, and you won't know that much, but you'll know something after this praxis. Yeah.
So the praxis, do we have to do before class or at some point?
Okay. So you're welcome to do it before class, if I'm organized enough to create it before class, which I will try my best to be. Okay. But the idea is that you do it in class. Okay. You may not finish it in class.
So the calculus we do afterwards.
You're encouraged, if you have time, to do it in class. But I would just do the quiz in your package info file and commit to it when you're really sure. And I'm going to give you 1 week to do it. I don't want to give you more than 1 week, because if you don't do it, you might have trouble with the homework. That's bad for you, and that's bad for us also, because you might come to us with questions that are answered here. Okay. More questions? Okay. So this is praxis info. And you see there's a bunch of comments, and then you find a very stylized kind of comment, @link and a name, full name, @link and a name. Okay? So normally a comment is unstructured. Okay? Java makes no interpretation of it, unless you embed these special characters. And the nice thing about embedding these characters, can anybody imagine why I put this, what special interpretation you might want by my putting this @link before the name? You want to visit it? That's good. But how will @link help me with the visit in the right direction? Okay, use your creativity, yeah. Some kind of hyperlinking facility, right? Very good. Please, you two guys also just participated in the class discussion. Okay? And the hyperlink feature, anybody know the hyperlink command in Eclipse? See, this is why practices are helpful. Control F6. Control left click. That is in Explorer. That's in the web. That's in my Word. Yeah. F3. Very good. How did you get that? You just read it? You tried it? Okay. You got your participation too. Okay. So it's F3. Okay. Oh, I say it here. And anywhere you have a name in your Eclipse, in your code that Java understands, you can do F3 and you'll go to it. And when you build these large programs with large number of components, it's a very useful feature. Okay. Okay. So the package will contain many other classes. Ignore any that are not in this list. Okay, they'll just confuse you. Now, when I went and double-clicked on my file, I found that many of my comments have been collapsed. Okay, so just make sure that all the code is expanded, the methods and the comments before you visit it. Now, you see, I've got a lot of comments here. Okay, and it's a very interesting way of teaching here. So I used to never comment my code, and I said, go to YouTube and visit my lecture. Though that is my comment on the code. So what I would do is take my code, paste it in PowerPoint, and that is my overview of the code. And why do I need to comment the code? Okay, why do double duty? Okay, or that code is in a Word document, and the description around the code is my comment. And now I'm going the other way around. Sort of, this class is inverted in many ways, or is flipped. That now the comments, the lecture goes to the code. Okay, so I actually looked at my lecture, saw what concepts I was illustrating with the code, and I embedded those concepts one way or the other. Some I just spelled out for you. Some I make you derive by changing code, running it, seeing what happens, asking you to discuss it with your partner, and then finally, we'll discuss it in the quiz, and then they become multiple choice questions, and then when anything becomes multiple choice question, the answer is easy, right? And we'll also have the discussion to consolidate that. Okay, so basically, read the comments left top to bottom, look at the code, follow the instructions, and hopefully that will all make sense. Okay, and this is the first time I'm doing it, but I had the TAs try this out yesterday, and they were fine with it. They liked it, so I've had some testing. Okay. To work in as large a group as possible, I've told you I've got a lot of online resources, but we don't want to be just a MOOC. And if we don't want it to be a MOOC, I need to talk to you one way like this with some questions answered. You need to answer questions, and what better way than for you guys to talk to each other, okay, and feel you're part of a class. Okay, so and go to your and what I didn't mention before was look at the questions in the package info before you do the praxis, so that you know what to note when you do the praxis and you know what to answer. Okay, and draft your answers, work collaboratively. There is no honor code pledge in the quiz there. Okay, the PowerPoint on Java teaching import said that reset your project, and that does make sense if you start modifying my code. But since you're making a copy now, I would recommend you don't reset your project, especially if you're going to enter answers into package info. If you reset your project, that will just go away. Okay, so don't reset project. That in general is a dangerous operation, and it will be dangerous for you. Okay, and like I said, the Sakai quiz you can take afterwards whenever, but think of the answers. And to take the Sakai quiz, I'll give you the quiz name, but again, for each topic, the quiz will be the topic name, okay, unless I make a mistake. Okay. And you will be able to submit this assignment only once, so you do be sure when you're writing. And then we're going to have class discussion. And like I said, this is new for me, and I'm just trying to get as much participation as possible. Okay? And when in doubt, answer. Okay? There is no such thing as a silly answer. Okay? The fact that you tried makes you ahead of 20 other people who didn't even try. Okay? Now, if your answer is completely off the mark, maybe you won't get credit. But if you're near the mark, or if you're then you'll get credit. I'll try to ask you for the name, but this is again not very natural to me, so I might or might not. I'm hoping that I'll learn your names by the end of the class, at least some names. Okay. Usually I'll learn the names when I just give the exams back, but I'm not going to be giving you the exams back. We're going to take the exam on paper, but we're going to scan the exams, and we'll grade online. Okay, and you'll get a little link with your grade. So that's another reason why I want to do this, because otherwise I'll never get to your name, know your names, or at least never hear your names also. Okay. The idea is that if I ask you a question, we'll incrementally build the answer. So I have only so many questions, and we have many more students. So it's good if you build it incrementally. I get more class participation. And my goal really is for the in-class work, you should be getting close to 100%, including class participation. Okay. So my goal is not to, weed out the people who are really good at class participation. It's to give everybody the points. Okay. So you'll be given at least a week to finish the Sakai quiz, and that's good from my point of view also, because people fall ill, people have other issues, and it's just good to have this 1 week cushion. Otherwise, I have to keep changing the dates for individual people, and it's more work for me too. And again, the 1 week limit is to just make sure that you are prepared for your assignments. Okay? Discuss with each other, but don't just post the answers on an electronic forum. Because that means the people who didn't have time and were doing the chemistry homework will just take the answers and not even think. So the whole idea is to make you think, to make you better prepared for the real event, which is the exams, which are really going to differentiate between. Okay? So you want to be as well prepared for the exams as possible. And also the project will differentiate a little bit among you.